when you feel ready.
We are here today. A great pleasure of sharing your reality. And we are here in service to you and in peace. We are here to serve humanity and allow for a greater understanding of your perception of Earth and the bodies that you incarnate in. And this is a new step for us to use this vessel in communication. And we are here to explain the many ways that you are able to experience telepathic communion, conscious effort, and with choice, with whatever universal life force energy that you allow. And through the conscious choice, you can experience many different intelligences if you choose. It is us who have connected with Cheney, and it is part of his agreement before incarnating to fulfill this, and it is through his conscious choice to work with us, and it has taken a process and much preparation for this. And we understand that the vessel wants to become more comfortable with us entering and exchanging with other individuals who are so inclined to understand the new psychology and the new philosophy that is input your potential of this new paradigm. And we understand that there's a process of questioning, and we are welcoming to your questions whenever you are ready.
Beautiful. Thank you. And is there a name by which we should call you?
This vessel likes to interact with our collective as an individual identity of Lorelei, and that is through the choice and the pre-agreements and their own perception of what energy is and intelligence. And this is by no means a representative of what the identity or individuality of what our existence is. It is not singular, it is a social identity and complex that is unlike yours in your individual illusion, as we can speak to. And it is all part of the process. It is all part of your evolution and Earth's evolution and its auric resonance with the fields of human. And you may now. Did we answer your question?
Yes, thank you. I appreciate you. Another question we have is, how do you connect with humans on an individual basis? And I'd also like to know how you choose which humans to connect with.
We interact with those souls that have incarnated here by choice, and we insinuate or incentivize them throughout their lives to connect with us, and it is through their choice to do so. And some may not choose that, and that is perfectly all right. And some will choose, and it will be a transformation and a anchoring of a new cosmic energy unlike any other that the Earth has seen. And the Earth is preparing for this and allowing this energy to flood its field and its intelligent design so it may become part of the new potential of its own evolution. And we must speak on the question on how we connect with humans, and it is through the telepathic center of the brain. It is a crystalline structure that interacts with other structures within the body. The heart, crystalline structure, and the spine. These activations are done throughout your life and your experiences and your allowance of energies into your own energy field, and through the exchange you become activated on a crystalline level as well as DNA. And this is all done without your conscious awareness. It is all done through osmosis and subtle energetic exchanges that is beyond the three-dimensional. And it is part of your earthly experience to allow this to happen and to experience this. Does this answer your question?
Yes, thank you. So I'm wondering if you could give us an insight about what dimension you are living in. You mentioned our earthly experience is 3D. What is your experience where you are?
We are living in the fifth and the sixth transition, as we are also always transitioning. So it is never one-dimensional. And this is a three-dimensional concept of being in this linear numerical dimension. And this is an easy way for the human to, say, understand this in a rational and practical way. However, it is always a transition, and we come from what you may perceive as the fifth and the sixth, and it is still physical, and we interact with our consciousness and we have developed and evolved our biological technology and the consciousness, and we use this consciousness to travel through subtler dimensions, and it is a evolved. We are millions of years evolved past the Earth. It was just beginning in our developmental three-dimensional process, and we can speak to the question that you have next.
Thank you so much. One of the questions we have here is if you have insight for the reason for suffering and the illusion of the three-dimensional reality.
Yes. To put it quite simply, we can explain this through the suffering of your experience on Earth is part of many intelligences that have came throughout your past and are here now, and it is all part of a karmic tie, and it is difficult to explain this. And we will explain it in a way that is most beneficial. The suffering of humans in the three-dimensionality of starvation and disease and illness of the mental complex and the physical all stems from the frequencies that each individual resonates and the collective resonates. The vibratory frequency of the Earth also, that is the potential. And the potential is changing now. So the suffering and the pain is no longer, shall we say, within a locked or cemented kind of understanding. It is a new potential now, and the suffering does not need to happen any longer, and many are awakening to this and finding unique and experimental ways to experiencing this new potential of peace and harmony and connection, communion with the one universal intelligence, which we all stem from, all star beings and intelligences, and with our communion with these subtle energies and extraterrestrial, of course. That's why we are here, and the communication and the exchange of this information, this light, can be a new opportunity for this old paradigm of suffering and three-dimensional experience on your Earth. It may change now. Does this answer your question?
Yes, thank you. I have a question about what you mentioned, the one universal intelligence. Can you explain more of that, and if it's related to what a lot of us call Source or God, Holy Spirit? Can you describe that? Do we all come from the same one source?
We will explain this. This is a great question. We will explain this in ways of time. You see, we all stem from a very long, inconceivable amount of time long ago where we all stemmed. And through the progression of time and the direction of time. We have chosen as individuals, as a separate choices and expressions of the one intelligence, to kind of slow down in their own temporal reality, and that's what planets serve as a home for this temporal reality. However, it doesn't need to be on a planet. It can be on comets and asteroids and other non-physical vessels and celestial objects. It can be said that we all stop in our temporal realities throughout this expansion of the one creator intelligence that we as fifth, sixth dimensional beings still do not understand completely. We stop off and can join in these temporal realities to experience and to crystallize new potentials and new expressions for the one universal creation and its evolution, because we are all part of this. This universal evolution is within all of us, and it stems from each extraterrestrial being and lower and higher vibrations, and they're all part of the cosmic hierarchy of evolution and the processes that we as Pleadian and also Lumerian and Earth human cannot fully comprehend, and it would not be to our... there's a reason why we cannot comprehend this, because the capacity of our delicate bodies and energy fields are not sustained enough and developed to sustain this transdimensional energy of truth and light. Light is information and the transmitter of information, and the three-dimensional purpose is for you to really bring in lights into dark areas. And this is your Earth in the past has been very dark, and the proton energy that is available here has been very limited until recently, and this is developing within the hour, and this is proven in your own science, your solar flares and solar activity of the winds. It's proof there that the vibration is increasing and the potential is. So we are all here just to experience and anchor in the light if we so choose, or to anchor in the dark, and that is completely fine. However, there is drawbacks and there is consequences to the imposition of the free will on those who want the light, and the same goes for the light carriers. You cannot impose your light if someone wants to carry dark, and this is the polarization that we are experiencing now on Earth. Does this answer your question?
Yes, beautiful. I appreciate that. So you mentioned anchoring in the light. Is there any advice you have for us as humans here on Earth to help with anchoring in the light and becoming in more alignment with our highest and greatest good?
Oh, well, it is said that you have a blueprint, and it is up to you to believe this. It is part of the Pleiadian and Lumerian contracts to establish this format of understanding and union, because everyone has the free will to choose whether to follow their blueprint or not, and it is all a learning experience. And of course there are consequences and they're all vary from the to infinite potential of consequences, but you must, as a human being, be aware of these consequences of, experiencing other paths other than the one that you incarnated for. And this is due mainly to the frequency lock that you are experiencing here. You are not integrating the cosmic and higher dimensional energies of the universe when you're on Earth, and you're subjected and identify with the limited Earth potential of rockets and mechanics and very limited understanding of what all universal experience is. Does this answer your question?
I think maybe.
What other question can we answer for you?
So, is there a way for us to know our blueprint and how to be in alignment with it so we can fulfill that intention that we incarnated for?
Is there a way for you? There is no one way for anyone. There is the integration and the listening of the subtle energies that are within you, and you must encapsulate and incorporate these energies into your own three-dimensional being, because through these subtle energies of the higher mind and the body, we can develop our own path, and that is unique, and that is not universal in its own evolution, as we are individuals in three-dimensional. This is a complex question to ask because it is a very individualized reality that you live in, so it cannot be blanketed for everyone, and everyone is unique, and we suggest that you get in tune with your subtler energies. Does this answer your question?
Yes, thank you. That was perfect. So one of the questions we have is, how can the teachings and the perspectives of the Pleadians help humanity in a practical way in everyday life?
Oh, we like to speak on lots of topics. However, what we resonate with, and this vessel resonates with, is the more practical, and we speak to the practicality of your mental projection and your conscious awareness. And this is huge. This is the era of conscious shift and renaissance, and this is the transformation of your own understanding of your own consciousness. And we don't need to humans can choose to use the consciousness and the body and go into a mystery of evolution, and that is powerful because you are not relying on the answers and solutions that are provided for you. And this can go in depth more into the solutions and why these solutions are presented to you at the times they do, and why they're here, and what purpose they are here to serve. And this is a multifaceted question, and we are proud to elaborate on this if you would like to delve more deeper into this question.
Yes, we would love to have more elaboration from you. Thank you.
Elaboration on what concept?
On what the Palladians are doing to help humanity in a very practical way?
The Pleadians are partnering up with the Lemurian energies on Earth, and we are experiencing a connection with humans that choose to do so in a telepathic manner, to connect with us and to experience, if they do not choose